Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Gibson, and I hope you're doing well. Uh, Today's session, this is Norm Therapy 101. No, this is a socialization of abuse. I'm always trying to interject humor in everything that we do. Abuse is not humorous on any level whatsoever, but through Norm Therapy, we get to take a look at how people sometimes self-abuse, how people sometimes hurt themselves over and over and so repetitively that they even look at their own situation and go, I actually did that to myself. And you'll hear a person who was near death before coming to norm therapy. And you'll hear them say things like, I never valued my life. People signed and co-signed on my BS. My therapist never really listened because I could lie my whole way through that session and walk out feeling a little bit better from that session. But by the end of the week, I was in need of my therapist or I was about to die. We hear this story all the time. I think that traditional therapy is good. It has its place. It's the cornerstone of all things mental and psychological insofar as our cultures globally are concerned. But sometimes, if you're being abused by someone and you've only had that kind of activity occurring in your life from your early childhood, maybe your parents were narcissists, and then you went to high school and were bullied by the prettiest girl in school or the biggest bully in school. You were abused, and they were narcissists. And then you go off to college and you think, I'm out of that. I'm going to college. And the first guy or girl you lay your eyes on, um, they're narcissists too, and they beat you down and put you down and hold you down and try to control you. And so you wonder why throughout your life, these people are constantly frequenting your environment and being a part of who you are and your existence, and you just can't seem to get rid of them. At Norm Therapy, we tackle that problem. And it's not as easy as said than done. It takes a lot of work, but it takes a lot of focus and a different kind of question about your life and a different kind of procedure. We'll talk more about that in other interviews, but right now, Coronda Mooney is a person who is a norm therapist. She's been a part of our organization for a while, and I'll let her tell you a little bit more about her story. Um, she's a very dynamic person, down home, good-hearted individual. You'll be able to surmise that from our interview. But, she has some issues she wants to discuss today, and I want to, delve into it with her. So without any further ado, Corona, if you can come in, that'd be great.
Hello.
Hi, Corona. I'm just taking a swig of water.
Okay.
How are you today? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you?
I'm doing well. So where are you located in the world right now?
I'm in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeehaw. Love Memphis. I actually hung out a little bit with Terrence Howard down there.
Okay.
He was doing back when he was doing that movie Hustle and Flow
Yes.
back in the day. Yeah, I hung out with him. We good times in Memphis.
It
Uh,
is.
a great hot though. Oh my God, it's hot in the summertime there. Oh,
It is.
I,
Hot,
I
lots of mosquitoes, everything. Just hot.
yes, it is. It is totally scorching there, but it's a good.
hmm
I enjoy it. I think it's cooler in Chattanooga because it's near the mountains, right? So
Uh-huh, it is.
it's cooler up that way. Okay, so tell me something. Tell our audience a little bit about you. Just a little. Well, a lot if you like. We got a whole hour.
Um, okay. Well, me, I'm from Memphis. I graduated from Kaplan first with my bachelor's degree in criminal justice and forensic
Wow.
psychology. And then after that, I sat back for a minute trying to figure out what I want to do. And I ended up breaking my leg. So trying to
You
save a
broke your
dog.
leg?
Broke my
How'd
leg.
you,
It'd been
how'd
about 10 years ago.
how'd you break
Trying
your
to
leg?
save my dog. She hung over a fence.
Ah,
And so when I tried to grab her, I came down kind of wrong. And I thought I just cracked something. But when I tried to get up and walk, it just got worse and I fell back down. So ended up broken my tibia and had to learn how to walk all over again. So it took about a year almost to learn how to walk again.
wow. Over saving your dog. That good
They,
Samaritan thing is something, isn't it?
yes.
Oh my God. Was your dog okay?
No, she didn't make it. She ended up breaking her neck because the chain was so heavy on her, and I couldn't put it back over that fence. So no, she didn't make it at the time. So
Oh,
that really hurt me more than my leg hurt.
oh, bless your heart. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes,
So you lost your dog and your mobility at the same time.
at the same time.
Wow. Did you have to have surgeries and all that?
No, just stayed in the cast and did therapy, but the doctor said maybe surgery on down the road. Which so far I'm trying to avoid. I try to keep myself active and moving around. So I don't want to be that disabled person, you know. I just
Oh, of
want to keep
course.
myself going. Yes, I don't
So
want
you're
to be
still
this.
feeling pain from your leg then?
Yeah, I still feel pain, especially when the weather change and it's gonna be bad. The pain is horrible. Like it's frustrating where times I can't hardly walk sometimes.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Well,
Yes.
uh, for the benefit of our audience, because I'm sure there's many people out there who find themselves in situations where they've hurt themselves or they have chronic pain.
hmm
Um, for the benefit of them, tell me something. Um, what what are you doing to mitigate your pain or make it sufferable where you can get through it?
Get through. I keep myself active. I keep myself doing things to keep my mind off of it. I did go back to school to get my master's in psychology,
Okay.
at Purdue. So I try to keep myself going. I exercise, I walk, I stay out with my family, just to keep myself going, just to get over that situation. But at
Okay.
times where I can't, I just like they understand at that moment and just let me be.
What about pain pills? Are you on
Uh,
pain pills? And if you
no,
are you
I hate
controlled? Are you?
I control. Yes, I hate pain pills. I hate medicine. Period. I might take like a Tylenol here and there every once in a while, or rub like some little pain cream on it. But other than that, I just keep it elevated. Keep it going, and
So
just work
pain
it out.
management you have under control to a certain extent
Yes,
without becoming addicted to some substance or another.
yes.
Because they
I
even
have.
put codeine in Tylenol these days, so you got to be careful.
I hate the feeling of any kind of pain medication because I don't like that drowsiness. I don't like to be. No, I like to keep my mind focused and keep going. So much going on. I want to stay up
I'm the
apart. What's
same way.
going on?
I
Yes.
like to be coherent. Okay, so
Yes.
tell me something. What are you doing these days? What do you do now?
Right now I work for a gastro company. I've been with them for like 14 years, just about. So I'm just like a
Gastro?
patient gastro, dealing with
And
the stuff.
and all that? Yeah.
Yes,
Hey, wow. I can tell you a quick story about that.
Okay.
Last time I was in Ohio, I went to a gastrointestinal and upper and lower GI place
Uh-huh.
and just specifically worked in that area. It was like a busy place. Oh my God, it was crazy.
Yes.
And I got an upper and lower GI at the same time.
Okay.
It did the upper GI and then it did the lower GI
Yes.
without anesthesia.
Mm.
I do not like medicine that much.
Okay.
I swear to you, I'm not kidding you. I went without anesthesia. And the doctor said to me, in the 40 years we've been here, not one
Uh-huh.
human being has ever done it. Both of them in the same day without anesthesia.
Oh,
I'd rather
wow.
choke, I'd rather feel bad, I'd rather feel
Uh-huh.
anything other than that numbness. I hate that numbness where you don't
Yeah.
in which I cannot stand it. So I
Mm-hmm.
understand it. So I'm happy that you have that kind of strength as a result
Yeah.
of your. So let me ask you something.
Okay.
You're with Arrow and Norm Therapy.
Yes.
You're an amazing human being. What
Mm-hmm.
brought you to Arrow and Norm Therapy?
What brought me here is that I wanted to do intern. I seen the position open on Indeed, so I applied for it. Um, and then for a minute, it's like I didn't go through the first part. So then I guess like the following month came up, Kelly sent me a message. I think she called me and she was like, "Are you still interested?" And I said, "Yes, I am." So I went on and joined North Therapy, and ever since I joined, I love it. Like it just gives you so much information. Even though you learn it back in school, it's like you learn a little bit more in a little different ways of what you learned then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been amazing. I mean, like everything we discussed and been training, it's been good.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, Norm Therapy is revolutionary. I mean, we're making a lot of strides around the world. Having people like you volunteered for the foundation, the nonprofit side, but also learned from the undergirding that we do with the nonprofit side of norm
Yeah.
therapy.
Hmm.
Being a norm therapist for you, how has it changed your life?
A lot. I mean, with certain topics that we discuss, things I've never been through. I mean, probably have been through it, but they pay attention to it, and learn the real definition of the information. It taught me a lot to pay attention to more of what's going on,
So
being
people that
around.
called you earlier in life that you were, I think you mentioned before that you were antisocial.
Yes.
And when you came to norm therapy, we were discussing, I remember a long time ago, but tell
Mm-hmm.
us what your take on it, because a lot of people are not antisocial. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
everybody develop at different rates. They just
Yeah.
do. And people don't know how to appreciate that. So what happened to you?
So my intake on antisocial growing up back then, especially in school, I was bullied. I was called antisocial. I was called stuck up, pretty girl, rich girl. I mean, I took that antisocial as that way. But when we discussed antisocial in our training, it was like totally a different definition. I'm like, no, that's not me. I'm not antisocial. I'm not like that. So I took it that way, not knowing the real definition of the way they was going by what they were saying and took it their definition way.
Yeah, we've prostituted a lot of phrases and words and medical terms over and bastardized a lot of them over the last 3 or 4 decades.
Yeah.
What once was, PTSD, post-traumatic stress, it was called PTSS at first, and then before
Mm-hmm.
that it was called shell shock, and before that it was called something else. And it was mainly from soldiers and police officers in the line of fire and duty and combat. And now anybody, a child who misses a volleyball at a game, now can have PTSD instead
Yeah.
of just being, sad and perturbed and confused why he couldn't catch the ball, and some parent coming along and saying, you win some and you lose some. And
Mm-hmm.
these are one of the ones you lost. Suck it up. Let's try to win one the next time. I'll work with you. Instead of
Yeah.
being an affirmation and that positive, we label that child as having PTSD and not able to cope with anything outside of the realm of anything stressful because we as parents are not preparing them for that. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that we have really molded the phrases in our lives
Mm-hmm.
to fit the malady instead of the malady to look, and be labeled as the phrase. I
Yeah.
think that I think you're not antisocial at all. You're just reserved in your opinion, and you just
Mm-hmm.
wait, and that's okay. A person who's antisocial tries not to socialize. It is their mission not to socialize, and they try to be that way. And they are normally cognizant that they're antisocial,
Mm-hmm.
not someone else telling you that you are and labeling you as such. There's a
Yeah.
big
It's a
anyway.
big difference.
Okay, so tell me, you work with this gastrointestinal place you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the funniest thing you've ever seen there? Without giving out names or anything, what's the funniest thing that's happened?
Well, I work from home, so I really just haven't been in that
Okay.
environment like that. So I don't see what's going on. I mean, I see what's coming through from like hospitals. I work with like over maybe like 4 different hospitals and maybe several clinics. So I
Okay.
get the information that comes through and just input information to the system for the coders and doctors to be able to see.
Okay,
So
so
I really,
forget all the juicy stuff. We're good. Don't worry about it. We're good. Okay. So do you travel much?
I do. I love to travel. I've been traveling since I was a little kid. My parents always travel. Mom and dad been married over 40 some years. So all we do was just travel. Yes. So I have a good family. So yes, I love to travel.
Outside of the country, inside of the country?
I
How?
haven't been outside the country yet. Been kind of a little scared to go outside the country because you hear so much stuff on the media talking about if you go here, you're gonna be stuck. So especially with so much going on right now. But
The
I
world is
did
a
have a
dangerous place, but not all of it.
it,
Not
yeah,
all.
it is. Yes, I do want to just like travel, maybe like Bahamas and Jamaica a little bit. I
Caribbean
do want to come to Dubai though. I mean, it looks pretty over there, so I do
Dubai
want
is a fantastic place. It really
to.
is. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, But it's one of these places where they went everywhere. The planners and the developers here, they went everywhere and saw
Hmm.
the best of the best. And then they brought it back and built it in Dubai, is what they.
Okay.
So people don't know
Okay.
I'm currently in the Middle East right now
Mhm.
raising money. So I'll just go ahead and share that, and I'm here in Dubai right now. And I'll tell you
Mhm.
something. This is one of the most interesting places in the world. There's more money here than any other country on the planet, with the exception, I think, of Luxembourg and I think it's Kuwait. And then I think
Mhm.
it's UAE. I think the United States, as far as wealth is concerned, is at like number 7 or 8 right now.
Okay.
That's just how much money is here and sheer power to get things done. And they just built a fantastic city,
Mhm.
area, and country as a result.
Okay.
Really
Okay.
amazing. Um, but I'll, of course, be in Ohio here next month, and then I'll be in New York, and then I'll be in a few other places. So, yeah, I'll keep traveling and keep moving along. But the beauty about outside of the country travel is you get to look at different perspectives of
Mhm.
life and culture and world. I've lived in about 22 countries, and I've been to over
Mm.
80 in my life, much
All
older than
right.
so, and I've been to about 80 in my life. And I
Okay.
know that norm therapy, and when I conceived of it some years ago, was based on all of the knowledge and the people that I had been coming across throughout my business career and
Mhm.
my military career as well. And all of those skills that I acquired in education and just observing the world helped me to understand that abuse is the same everywhere in the world. It just has a different context to it.
Yes.
That's it. It's the
Mhm.
same. You slap a woman in one country, which you shouldn't do in any, but if you
Mhm.
slap a woman in one country, in the United States, it may be a crime, but there it's normal.
Mhm.
Not only do the culture believe that it's normal, but the woman themselves think they deserve it because it's
Yeah.
a part of the culture for thousands of years.
Mhm.
So it's different everywhere. And what is abuse in California is not abuse in London. That may be abuse in Nigeria. That may not be abuse in China. That may
Mhm.
be abuse in Australia, but may not be abuse over in Cameroon. So
Mhm.
the abuse is very, very difficult to discern.
It is. I know Memphis just passed a law for domestic violence. They just passed that law here for domestic violence, which is good, because they
DV,
need it. Yeah, they
I think
need
it's
it.
IDV, intimate domestic violence cases. Yeah.
Hmm. And
So
that's that.
what is that? What is they saying with that law there?
I really didn't read. I just heard it over the media. I didn't read the information
Article?
on the law, but I know they passed it, which is good because it's so much and so much happening to the women's out here and girls. But I know when I stayed in Las Vegas, it's just like say if we walking down the street and we just playing like we're fighting. I mean that's a crime. You can't even play like you're going to jail.
Wow.
So yeah, Las Vegas is different with their domestic violence. You can't even play fighting.
Wow, that's really something. I mean, I think sometimes we overdo things because, I'm a joker. I'm a joker. I'll walk up to somebody.
Me
I'm with
too.
you. This is my sidewalk. And
Yeah.
if I'm beating her up, then I'm going to jail for that. Then that's a little
Hmm.
overkill. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's over.
Mm.
I think we need to use commonsensical methods to create legislation and more importantly, to implement it. I think implementing these legislations that are approved by the Congress and the state, and of course signed by your governor, right, has to be something that people use common sense to do, I think, carrying
Mm.
them out. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Um, do you like the fact that when people talk to you now, they see a different person?
Yes. Uh-huh.
So tell us, how are
And,
you different from how you used to be these days?
oh,
And
I try to keep things calm, especially about being a norm therapy now, the things that we discuss. It
Mhm.
makes you to be more calm now, pay attention more of what's going on in your surroundings, and you
Situational
try
awareness.
to, you try to tell other people, like, okay, don't get upset, just be calm about it, be patient, it'll be okay. I mean, things happen, it's life, so we have to go on. So I mean, I just try to stay, I know my parents are calm, but it's like, okay, me, it's like when you work in the medical field, it's like, okay, sometimes you have to be like, okay, let me step back for a minute. Let me just go in the corner for a minute, count, relax, and keep it moving. So I just try to stay calm in everything I do.
Can you share with us something that you do that where you're using that? Because a lot of people don't know that it's better to respond to situations than it
Hmm.
is to react. You should always pause and think about it and then create some type of strategy or even an activity to do afterwards. After you thought about it, that won't have the wrong or negative kind of impact. Um, can you name a circumstance where that you've had to use that lately?
Just say if someone maybe made like a coworker or something, even though I work from home, I still have to keep that same attitude, to stay calm. So what I do is like if they need something, I know that they can get on their own because we all
Hmm.
have the same system. So I just like, I just like, okay,
Tell me you're the go-to person.
yes.
Got it, got it.
So like, okay, let me just take a moment, before I reply back to her, because in my mind I'm saying something else, I want to type up, but then like, okay, let me just go ahead, take my time and finish up what I'm doing. Then I reply back and say, okay, I get it, when I'm done, just try to stay calm, even in a relationship. If somebody make me mad, whatever, I just like, just walk away, don't say anything, and just
Mhm.
take
Tell
a
me about your
walk.
parents.
My parents.
Yeah, you talked about them like they were the bedrock of the world just a few months ago.
Oh, they
Really
are.
awesome.
Yes,
It was.
I love
So,
my parents.
tell us about it. What great
Okay,
relationship you guys have. So tell us about that relationship.
everything. I can talk to them about everything without any hesitation. I mean, anything, sex, anything. We just have that full
Really?
conversation. Yes,
So
they
you're
understand.
clear with your parents.
Clear with my parents. Yes, even when I was in school, I mean, we talked about anything. Um, my parents was there for me with all my anything that we did in school, like projects, sports, anything I did, they was there, like no problem. Graduation, I mean, like my parents did it all. Like I didn't start working till I was like 21 years old, or maybe 22. So I mean, like just that spoiled
Took
kid.
care of the door. They took care of the door.
Yes, and they want to do anything. I mean, we went out of town, we did family things. I mean, like when I tell you about my uncle that passed, I mean, like everybody just one big happy family. Like
You were
just
nurturing.
yes.
Do
I
you see
want
a lot of abuse in your surroundings, not necessarily your family? Sound like you come from a healthy parent daughter relationship.
mhm.
But do you see a lot of abuse in your surroundings there in Memphis?
I do. That's why it's so hard for me to try to understand the different interviews. Because when you're not being in that situation, and then and then like if you do try to talk to somebody and they're that type of person, you're not understanding what you're getting into, because you've never been in that situation before. So it's like kind of hard to be in something that you were never in. Like my grandma always told me, she told me that I'm not the marrying type. She said that I wanted a man like my dad. I want to be loved, that person that did
There are men
everything.
out there who want to just love you too. So don't
Yeah, because
don't
my
sleep.
mom, she was a stay-at-home mom, until we got
Mhm.
old enough, in junior high school, and my sister like old enough in elementary. So she's a stay-at-home mom. So it's like looking for that type of person is kind of hard. So in all the things that we discussed, like narcissist, antisocial, gaslighting, manipulating, it's like kind of hard trying to understand those things when you've never been in it. And then when you do get with somebody that's like that, you don't understand what you're in, and it's hard trying to get out of it.
True, it is very difficult.
Yeah.
But I'll ask you, insofar as antisocial, as far as people who are trying to get into your life to manipulate you or the narcissist, um, how often do you encounter narcissists in your line of work, number one, and number two, personally, because I don't think you get out as much because of your leg.
Mhm.
Uh,
I still
am I
get
wrong?
out.
See, correct me then. Correct. Go ahead.
I'm a Gemini. I gotta get out.
There you go. There you
I
go.
can't sit in one spot. But seeing that, what we discuss in training and continue to discuss about these terms, I mean, I pay attention to what's going on. I mean, at first it's like, okay, in the workplace, like when we talk about work abuse, I didn't really see it because I used to work in the emergency room at the hospital. So, and
Hmm.
I have seen interesting things in that, where your coworkers, try to lie on you or try to get you things that you're not supposed to do,
Hmm.
things like that. So I have seen it, like far as in the hospital, being manipulated into doing things you're not supposed to do, or being bullied by your manager, things like that. I have seen it in those situations. So by me not knowing then, I know now what to look for.
And how to deal with it more than
How to
anything.
deal. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you mentioned that's why I'm trying to get to this point. You mentioned love bombing.
Uh-huh.
Who's been love bombing you and you know it, and what did you do about it?
Well, I heard that term from Kiki Palmer in her relationship when she said she would love bomb. So I said, let me look this love bomb word up and see what it really means. Because I mean, maybe I've been love bombed before when a person try to come up to you and give you all these gifts and try to gift you into things and do these things
Assuage
for you.
you in his
Yeah,
direction.
so yeah, I've been so I'm like, okay, yeah, like I've been there before, so now I know what these things mean when you start paying attention to these different words. You want to look these words up to see what's going on before you even jump into things now. And then like I want to help my family or my friends out, they want to be like in the relationships that they're looking for that's not really, meant for them to be in. Because I have
Before you
some.
could discern it, I'm sorry, before you could discern love bombing and
Hmm.
someone did it to you, how
Hmm.
did that make you feel?
By me knowing it now,
Oh, no, no,
it,
back then, what had you make you feel back then?
back then I wasn't paying attention to it back then. So I mean I'm young, wasn't paying attention. So I'm just taking it, just going with the flow.
Okay, whatever they say is, hey, oh, a
Yeah.
new car, a watch. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Uh,
Flowers,
New
candy.
house, anything. Yes, just going with the flow.
But as you look back on it now I'll ask that question. Now, as you look back on it now, did you find that it was a little too much too soon?
I do. And things I look back on now and we discuss, I just laugh at it now, like, okay. Like, yeah, that's funny. Like, okay, see, now I know what to look for, and I know you're not gonna get me like that again. So yes.
You see it coming a mile away.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it makes it easier for you to discern things that would or would not happen thereafter. And I think that's a
Yes.
very smart way to do it. I
Mm-hmm.
think that a lot of these young women today, I've seen it a lot online and in person,
Mm-hmm.
they look for how much they can get out of a guy. And it's a
Mm-hmm.
shame that our society has gone this way, but they don't know what they're actually doing. Is that's a form of self abuse
Yes.
because your independence is being compromised through your efforts of getting something from someone else. Not
Mm-hmm.
only your independence, but your sense of focus when it comes to you developing you. You're not necessarily developing you into somebody who is conducive to the
Mm-hmm.
normal or mainstream world. It's
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's kind of like a pariah, looking for men and what they have. And I think that's a shame
It
that
is.
it has become that because I think oftentimes down in the Caribbean, there's a phrase. Women say, as they sit on a bench in a park, I'm not joking you, this is true. As they
Mm-hmm.
sit on a bench in the park, they're sitting on their bank.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? And
Yeah.
this is a part of different cultures. I remember down in the Caribbean, Central South America, Asia, not necessarily Asia, but the populated areas of Asia. All over the world, that's the mentality that they're
Mm-hmm.
sitting on their bank or their ATM. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's a shame that it's become that. So in the spirit of love bombing, when someone is bestowing upon you a lot of gifts, that's a form of manipulation and love bombing to
Yes.
have you in their corner. But if you're the one who's the culprit and your male counterpart is the victim, then that has to be much worse on
Mm-hmm.
your own psyche. And what are you teaching your children in the future? What are you teaching people around you? Anyway, I can go into 80,000 conversations about that. I think that's a very low life way. So tell me something. Who's been narcissistic around you or manipulator?
Um, Back then, a lot. I mean, like I say, go and look at these words now and going over this information every day and more, it's like, okay, I've been there. it's like, okay, I'm glad I'm out of it. I don't have to deal with it anymore. I move on from it, and I know what to look for in this type of person. I mean, it's like you don't know. Like I said, you don't know if you've never been there before, until you actually have
Mhm.
been. Then when you go over information and see it all the time, it's like, okay, now you know how to deal with this person or what to look for in this person. And
Your parents prepared you. I'm sorry, I have a dry throat today, and
you're fine.
here in the Middle East is dry all the time. So
Yes.
but your parents, did they prepare you for life?
They did. My dad graduated with his philosophy degree from what school did he go to? Hold on, let me think. It was in Arkansas, in Little Rock. He graduated from he got his philosophy degree in Little Rock. Um,
His PhD? His
just a
PhD,
bachelor's, just a
bachelor,
bachelor's.
okay, in psychology.
Uh-huh.
And
So yeah, they prepare us a lot, like schoolwork, whatever we need. I mean, my dad was there, and I'm just like grateful, for my parents because they was always there, no matter what.
what did they do?
No, my dad's retired now, but he still do a little work on on the side, because he can't sit down. So I guess I get that from him on my dad's side.
Okay.
My mom, she works in a pharmaceutical, um, so she
Okay.
been working there for a while, and
A
I just have
pharmaceutical,
one.
right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of money in that. Uh-oh, there's a lot of money in that. Okay, keep going.
And
So
and then
pharmaceutical.
I have one sister. She works, and she's married. So, and I have like two nieces and two nephews. So it's just me.
I need to ask you this question because I know I've asked you a long time ago, but I'll ask you again.
Mhm. Okay.
In life, what is your biggest struggle?
My biggest struggle is who not want to have surgery on this leg for number one. Um, Trying to avoid that right there. That's like one of my biggest struggle is this leg.
So if you don't get the surgery, what's the
Mm-hmm.
prognosis? What happens?
Right now, I am supposed to be a disabled person. I'm supposed to have all these back braces on, these knee braces on, walking with these canes. But I try to keep myself, to keep going, to keep working, to keep myself motivated, keep my mind strong. I don't want to be that person sitting at home collecting disability check, knowing that I can do a little bit better for myself. I have to keep
Well,
myself
I commend you.
on that focus, So I'm like, that's not me. I sit back and look at these young folks today that's all on these disabilities that don't need disability. I'm like, okay, I don't want to be like that because I know I can do better for myself. And that what keeps me going is looking at them. So that's one of
You know
my
what I hate to
biggest
hear
struggles.
most? You know
What's
what I
that?
hate to hear most? And Black in a black community. It
Mm-hmm.
happens a lot more in the white community than the black community, and that is, I hate when somebody says, "I'm waiting on my check." Can't
Yes.
stand that phrase. I've always hated that phrase because it denotes a sense of depending on the system to survive instead of yourself.
Yeah. So my
Uh,
parents always told us how to be dependent. So that's what I don't depend on anybody. I work more than one job. I work full time, school full time. So I mean I have done it. I guess watching my parents, do it. So that's why I do it.
well, that's called good work ethic. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
wrong with that. I think it's great. Sometimes, and I need to, modify my statement a bit by saying uh, that sometimes the economic conditions, job availabilities, the socioeconomic structures in the community where you find yourself, it's almost impossible to get a job
It
uh,
is.
or find food for your family. So getting my check it denotes a sense of, yeah, I'm dependent on the system, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people think and believe when they drive by like the hood that
Mm-hmm.
why don't those people just pull themselves up out of bootstraps and just do better and go to school and all these different things? What they
Mm-hmm.
don't realize is most of these downtrodden areas in the United States, especially, were purposely created this way to
Mm-hmm.
keep people down, to keep
Yep.
people away from good education, to keep
Mm-hmm.
people from having good jobs, from keeping from participating in that American dream. And all of this that I'm saying is it was a matter of law from throughout Jim Crow, slavery,
Mm-hmm.
and even after the 1960 civil rights movements. it has even gotten worse. Redlining and so many other things have marginalized these communities to such a place where there are no jobs. There's no prospect of jobs. There's no hope. There's no opportunity. The only thing that is normally available is prison time, the
Yes.
military,
Mm-hmm.
or a life of crime. Those are,
Mm-hmm.
and then a few people, and this is not me talking, it's the matter of law. You can look it up, but there are statutes and different laws at the federal as well as the state levels that prohibited lenders from
Mm-hmm.
lending money to Black communities. So
Yeah.
oftentimes these Black communities can't get a loan anywhere because of where they reside or where they work. And
Mm-hmm.
people don't know that till this very day, the term redlining came from the US government redlining all these areas in the country that were predominantly Black,
Mm-hmm.
redlining them, and actually telling the Treasury Department and the Commerce area of the government, telling the politicians and the city management and governments, state governments, not to lend to these areas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they're this way. And then what did these areas do? They say, okay, screw it. We'll just build it ourselves. We'll build our own banks, our own butcher shops, our own schools, our own everything.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happened? Basically, white America burned it down. And then since Black people didn't have access to white America, they burned it down too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. That's all of this is historical fact. So I think once people start seeing that there are no opportunities there, and I think norm therapy is definitely needed in that part of the world, well, not only
Yeah,
with the police, but with the community itself.
it does.
I think we need to find a normal that works for our community, and then find a normal that works for ourselves individually.
Mm-hmm.
Not collectively, but individually, you have to find your own normal. That's why we call it norm therapy. Finding your own normal through your own power and your own intellect and your own abilities. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, we can talk a lot about that.
I know.
But one of the things I like about your long bio is that human trafficking you've written about. Can you
Yeah.
tell us about human trafficking?
But we had to do a paper for my bachelor's degree, so I picked it because I mean I seen all these little young girls, and not just girls, boys and kids in general, even women. And I said this is a very interesting topic. 'Cause, I mean, I like to watch all kind of movies, so in the
Yeah.
paper I did, I mean it just, and I know like in Hawaii they traffic their children, maybe like starting around about the age of 5, I want to say. They traffic them real young. And I mean, like, that is sad. So I did a paper on human trafficking, just, just see how far it would go. And I mean, I did good on it. I thought I
Well,
wasn't,
tell
but
us how good it was. Tell us about the paper. Tell us about
it
it.
was
What,
so
what
long
did you
ago. I
find
don't
out?
even. I mean, everything. It was like, that was like over 10 years ago I did that paper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was over 10 years ago I did that paper. So, I mean, just human trafficking in general. I mean, like I say, trafficking young girls so young and selling them, and I mean it's just crazy. Up here in Memphis, like Nashville area, I mean like they've been catching them left and right, the human traffickers. I mean it's good, and I always wanted to work in the department, just try to help catch people like that, and get them locked up
Mhm.
and put them away, because I think they're sad taking little kids away from their family and not knowing what they are and what they're going through and what they're doing. And when they do, survive from that, try to talk to them and, get what's going on with them, because they will turn, to a different person if they're not caught in that time of matter. 'Cause they can go from human trafficking to, to prostitute, once they're relieved. But still, you
Of
want to try
course.
to keep them calm and keep them from going into the other situation.
Well, I think trafficking of children should be, and this is what I think the problem is. There's so much money in human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes, politicians
Yeah.
turn a blind eye because they directly or sometimes indirectly receive benefit from it. That's
Mm-hmm.
why it isn't as important. I mean, our children are our most precious resource,
Mm-hmm.
and to not have come down as hard as they could have on human trafficking in the United States, especially, is
Mm-hmm.
beyond my own comprehension. But I understand when there's money involved, it's hard to get people to move off of the
Yes.
standard that just let it happen because, we'll ruffle the feathers of some very wealthy people. I think that is what's happening with human trafficking, that it's proliferated and grown so much because there's so much money in prostitution and the sale of humans as well as drugs. That entire area has caused a lot of problems in our society. And most people nowadays, and I think they're paying a lot of attention to it because most people now see that it's just not happening to kids of color, it's happening to everyone, especially
Everyone.
mainstream Americans. You notice all the money the U.S. put into middle America when they had the opioid epidemic and trying to help resolve that and paying fines and all that. But in the underserved communities in America, it's not that way. When a big corporation goes in and creates a drug or a problem or situation that is to the detriment of that community, nothing happens. So I think there's a big problem there.
Yeah, because I almost been kidnapped twice. So that's why another thing.
Tell us about that, please.
Okay, so well, back in high school, I was doing a little summer job for like a little summer program back then when school was out. And my classmate, her mom, dropped me off at my grandma. My grandma wasn't home. So I just walked up to the little corner store and got to go get some snacks and come back to my grandma's house and just sit on her porch till she got there. But when I came out the store, it was this white truck. I'll never forget how it looked. I'll never forget how the man looked. He was a black man with a jerry curl, kind of heavy set. That been years ago. And when I was coming at the store and walking up back down the street, the van started moving slow. So I started paying attention. I always have paid attention to my surroundings anyway since I was young. So when I looked back, I seen him, and so I went back up to the store and I called my dad and told my dad what was going on. And my dad said, "Well, just stay at the store. I'm on my way." So my dad came pick me up from there. Then the man ended up leaving when he seen my dad come. And then the other time I was been kidnapped with me and my cousins. We was like, I spent the night over their house, and we got up that morning to go walk to the store. Where in her area where she stayed, and it was a white man in a red pickup truck. Was following us to the store, so she ended up calling her boyfriend when we got to the store, and he went to the truck and asked him. I don't know what the words were. It was so long time ago, but I mean, being in that situation, you just really want to pay attention to your surroundings. You don't want to just stop, talk to nobody. You just have to keep yourself going. Everything that looks good is not good. So you want to just keep yourself going, even to this day and time. Everything that looks good is not good. Don't
That's
stop for
very true.
anybody. Yeah.
So, have you counseled or talked to anybody in your
I
neighborhood?
told no, I haven't. I mean, no more to tell my dad, my mom, my family, they know about it. So, but like I say, things like that, I don't let things like that get next to me. I just, if the conversation comes up that somebody been through it, I would discuss it then. But other than that, nothing like that doesn't bother me until it comes up.
Outside of your leg, because
Hmm.
that has to be the center of your universe. Being in constant pain all the time has to be something that's on your mind.
Yeah.
What do you do to distract yourself? Well, how do you say, I get out? What do you do to distract yourself?
I like to shop. So shopping is one of my main things.
Talking
I
about
go
clothes, appliances, what do you shop for?
everything, clothes, appliances, household stuff. I mean, I just love it. That keeps my mind really. They say it's a bipolar thing, but to me, everybody got a name for something. Like I said, everybody got a name for something, but it's not. It's just me to keep my mind off of things, so I can stay focused on something else, especially off the pain. Um, if I'm not shopping, I might go to like a spa to go get like a massage on my leg, which that makes it feel really good.
Oh,
I get
good.
that done. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Try to keep that blood circulating, in there. So I'm gonna get blood clot because it's like one of my main things is blood clotting. That my
Yeah.
auntie told me to look for. Because she said that where your pain mostly come from is it could be a blood clot. So I try to keep that blood circulating going in that
How often
leg.
do you get the massage?
I go like every 3 weeks.
Okay, is that enough?
It's enough. Uh-huh.
Do you do exercises or anything like that to keep your leg?
Yes. Uh-huh. I have like my therapist, he made these things for me, like these bands to where they help my legs. So like I use these little thick rubber bands to kind of like exercise stretch or whatever. So I use those, and he give me like this piece of paper. I use the papers, from that, and keep working out with the exercise papers they give me. I go to the gym, walk the treadmill, the bike. I stretch, anything to keep that circulation going and that pain, and try to
Oh,
keep the muscles going because my muscles did kind of fade away a little bit in that leg. It probably,
atrophy. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
atrophy.
Mm-hmm.
So, in deterioration of your muscles, and I'm just last question, go to something else. The
Okay.
deterioration of your muscles, does it cause you to limp, or does it cause you to, do you walking kind of normal? How's that looking for you?
For a minute, I did limp.
Mhm.
Um, but like I said, with that therapy, he told me how to, to keep myself walking and going. I did injure myself a couple times at work by working ER as far as work comps. So I did like kind of re-injure that leg again and my ankle. Yeah, so it kind of like brought back a little bit more pain when I did that. But I just like I said, I keep myself, I walk. I like to walk, so I walk, around my area, whatever. Like I ride the bikes at the gym, treadmills, anything to keep it going, keep that pain from, and then muscle, try to build that muscle back, especially the muscle part.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
muscle is not easy to do. It's hard.
it
Uh,
is. Mhm.
if you started from scratch, especially after you've been injured. Uh,
Yeah.
what is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby is reading. I like to read. I
What have you
like to
read lately? What have you read lately? Anything good?
I've been reading these like different little psychology books. Just trying to stay apart,
Okay.
on
Part of
information
human.
out there. Yeah. Just
Okay.
trying to keep my mind going with the different stuff that's going on in the world.
So what else do you do?
If I'm not reading, I might journal a little bit about what I did with my family, like if we went out of town, out to eat, um, did different little things with my niece and nephews,
Oh,
my
did you
sister.
say out to eat? You said out to eat, right?
Mhm.
What do you normally order when you go out to eat? What do you order?
Pasta.
Ah, okay, pasta. That's
I
good.
love
What kind of
pasta.
pasta? Like
A
penne
salad.
pasta, salad, or oh,
Chicken shrimp pasta.
okay, that sounds pretty good. Which
Hmm.
restaurant is that? That's got to be like a uh,
Usually like Chili's. They usually have the shrimp and chicken pasta. I
really?
like theirs the best, really. Hmm.
Wow. Okay, I'll have to try that next time I'm in Chili's. I'll definitely have
Yeah.
to try.
Hmm.
Okay, so you go out, you eat, you hang out with your parents, you're having fun all the time.
Hmm.
Uh, when you're feeling sad, what normally makes you sad? What normally puts you down?
Oh, maybe sometime thinking about my best friend. How we used to
What
always
about
go out. Yeah, how we used to always go out and eat, and do things.
what about your
That's
best
not.
friend? How are they now?
Oh, she passed away.
I know. I want you to share. So how does she
Yeah.
pass?
She had diabetes. She was very bad diabetic person.
Type 1
And
or
she had,
type 2? Do you know?
I want to say type 2. I didn't know she was diabetic until after she had her coma. Because I broke my leg. When I broke my leg, she was in a coma.
So she
So
was
it's
in
like I
diabetic coma. So that's probably type 1. Type
type
1.
1. Okay.
But she needed the insulin shots, is what she
Well,
needed.
she's supposed to be taking medicine. We was in high school. I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know she was diabetic that long. Yes. Like I didn't know. Like we was eating all these different types of food, and we were just doing this, doing that, out up all night, and I had no idea. If I knew she was diabetic, we would never ever ate things like the way we ate. So
So she died, was it
she needed a kidney transplant. So I don't know if it was that or exactly what it was.
okay, so I've got a couple questions from the audience. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Uh, how does how is it that you motivate yourself despite your difficulties? What is your
Um,
driving force? What is your driving force?
staying focused on me, my self-care, make sure I'm okay first. Um, like I say,
Absolutely.
um, I read books, I walk, I exercise, I stay, contact with my family, make sure we, doing good, make sure they're okay. If I'm okay, I have to make sure they okay as well. Because I know they're older now, so they took care of me. I gotta take care of them.
There you go.
um, yeah, like I
So,
say.
I got more questions. It's okay.
Okay.
That's good enough. But sometimes you have to just reshift your focus on something positive and productive forward. I'm hearing you.
Yep.
So that's good.
Mhm.
Next question. Uh, what are you most passionate about? And what brings you the most joy?
What I'm most passionate about is that I have completed my first part of my degree. I've
Yeah.
been through so I've been through so much with like all that pain. So with that pain, I have to keep myself motivated and get what I want. That's like one of my most passion. I worked so hard for that. So I thank God that I was able to complete
Complete it.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah.
So accomplishment is your area of joy
hmm
or your focus. Okay. You mentioned getting your master's anytime soon.
I
How's
got
that
my
going?
master's last year in
You got your
math.
master's. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I was saying it right. Okay, so you got your master's in psychology, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as a psychologist, give me your opinion of norm therapy.
um, to me, it's kind of the same, but it's a little bit different in what you're asking for. Like you're trying to get the truth out of people. Besides, I mean, you're still listening to what they're going through, but you're trying to actually get what's actually what making them go through what they're going through. So it's like you're trying to get a little bit more deeper than maybe a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And you're not trying to like just give them all these. You try to make them think of their own issues and try to fix their own selves, so they can get their own life together instead of trying to get all this medication stuff going on. But it's a little different. It's totally
Yeah,
different.
it
Yeah.
is.
It's
I
more
like
of a
to tell
mind.
people.
You're trying to get into their mind a little bit more,
Yes,
even though we try to get into their mind, but it's a little bit deeper so they
it's
can get their
different,
own self together.
but it's quite different. Yeah, I
hmm
wish we had more time because I'd love to have a conversation on just that.
I
Uh,
know.
um, with your new, I don't want to say newfound understanding of abuse, because your father and mother seem to prepared you well in your life to recognize abuse or potential problems, or having that hair on your neck stand up when that white van went by, or
Yes.
you were with your cousins going to the store that day.
hmm
You were kind of prepared for that.
I was.
The state of abuse in America, I think, especially the rest of the world as well, is that people don't normally look out for those kinds of things to occur. And so they are lacking in situational awareness.
hmm
And how was it that you found yourself in a place and you shielded yourself from being kidnapped? Have
hmm
you ever tried to help somebody else with that kind of knowledge that they could possibly prevent themselves from being kidnapped?
I have. I have talked to my niece and nephews, because I know they seen how me and my friends used to always go out and kick, and I try to tell them that the world is totally different than what,
Mhm.
we been through. So I try to make sure they look out for themselves, look out their surroundings and make sure, that you're like this day and time, your friends are really not your friends. Everybody's so different now. You have to pay attention to people. So I try to keep them apart of what's going on, make sure you look out for certain things, so
Mhm.
they won't end up in that situation.
If you had to give advice to little
hmm
girls out there now, especially involving human trafficking, hanging with the wrong crowds,
hmm
little boys, I'm gonna give some advice for at the end of the show, but little girls, what advice would you give them?
I say if you do go somewhere, make sure you're going somewhere with more than one person. Don't try to go out so late at night. If you have to go out so late at night, make sure that your parents know where you're going at all times. Um, just don't stay if you stay within some light. If you see something that's not right, turn back around, run, whatever you gotta do. Just don't stop for anybody. Just keep going. And make sure if you have a cell phone, just have to call 911. Just do it. You just have to
Yeah,
look out for yourself.
absolutely. Would it also be a good idea for girls when they go out with someone to stick with those people they're with?
Yes, make sure you stick with people at all times. Say stick with people at all times, especially your friends. If your friends want to say, "Hey, let's go," no, don't take any ride from anybody. Like if your friends say it's okay, it's cool, and you don't know the person, you don't have to do it. Just don't go because you don't. If you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. I mean, don't. get bullied and
Don't get
manipulated into
separated.
somebody else. Yes, it's somebody else stuff that you don't feel comfortable about doing.
You know, we live in a dare society for the past few decades. I dare
Mhm.
you. If you don't do it, you're a chump or a coward, or we're socialized to believe that, if we don't, you know, I dare you to jump off this cliff. And if you
Mhm.
don't, well, people tried that with me in my life. And I've never been that guy. And if I
Mhm.
could see some of the little boys right now, just the tip of what you were talking about, little girls, is you don't have to take the dare. If
Mhm.
somebody wants you to do something dangerous or ridiculous because of a dare, tell them to do it first. No, you do it. Knock yourself out and watch you do it. Once I can see if you can do it, then I'll feel better about doing it
Mhm.
or not.
Mhm.
I think that where we lose ourselves is we're socialized to believe that we're supposed to take on any challenge. I think we've been taught that. We're supposed to be able to walk down that dark road and be okay. We're supposed to be able to cut through the woods when we should have stayed on the main highway. We're supposed to be able to get out in a car with somebody when we should have stayed inside in a dance. You know,
Mhm.
we're socialized to believe these things. And that's how
Mhm.
abuse occurs. That's how crime occurs. That's how, people get killed. For the lack
Mhm.
of a term. We
Mhm.
have a guy with our organization right now who's a paraplegic, and he's a paraplegic today because uh, he thought he could do something he couldn't do,
Mhm.
and he admitted that, and he tells a great story. Um, and oftentimes, because we don't have better judgment, I think that as a young person, we tend to make the wrong decisions. So if any of you are listening to this here at any point in the future or today, just know that at Norm Therapy, those life lessons that you otherwise missed, we can help you with. So anyway, I could talk more and more about that. We're going to start to close out here in a couple of seconds. Is there anything you want to tell our audience?
I just want to tell them to stay safe, stay blessed. Just make sure you watch your surroundings at all times because it is a dangerous world out there.
It truly is. And I want to say to everybody that situational awareness is everything. You have to be aware of your surroundings, the people who are within your immediate sphere and your immediate self. You need to be able to pay attention to that. Also, you need to be able to uh, take a look at the potentiality of danger, because there's always a potential for danger in everything that you do. If you find yourself making a decision based on emotions, chances are you're going to be wrong. So start making your decisions based on pragmatism and common sense. And you'll find that more often the situation will turn out just a little bit better for you. Your parents can tell you this all day, and you've probably heard them say this, but you've not listened, because if you're in any kind of trouble right now and you need any kind of help right now, chances are you need to start applying what you've been taught. And if you haven't been taught the right way to get in and out of circumstances, because circumstances will always dictate your outcome. Meaning that if you're in terrible circumstances and you find yourself in terrible circumstances, chances are something terrible is going to happen to you. If you find yourself in good circumstances, chances are something good is going to happen to you. So, with all that being said, I think it's important that we understand that our decision-making process and those lessons that you otherwise didn't listen to or didn't get as a child, you need to start paying attention to now. This is how we prolong life and have a good life, by having common sense and paying attention. Anyway, it was good talking to you today. If you had anything to close us out on, what would you close us out on, Coronda?
Like I say, everybody just stay safe, stay blessed. Don't be afraid to talk to anybody about what's going on in your life, especially your parents. Because those are the ones that's gonna be there for you, if nobody else. There's
Absolutely.
always watch your surroundings.
Thank you. And listen, with that, this is our session ending tonight. I really appreciate everyone for watching. Coronda, thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you on the flip side. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Say hello to your parents. Bye.
Okay, I will. All right.
Bye.